Hello everyone, I am Mercy Livingston, heading the digital marketing team at .com Infoway, and I am very happy to welcome every one of you today to our webinar, Why SEO Marketing is Important for Startup. So just to check up, if anybody could type me yes in the chat window so that I can understand everything is alright, I am audible to every one of you. That's great. I see a couple of yeses here, so let me continue with that. This quick introduction about DCI. DCI is established in 2000. It's with 200 plus IT professionals across 3 offices in 2 cities in India, and we are headquartered at Chennai. As you see in this slide, we also have other initiatives. GMSA is the recent one, that is a Global Mobile App Summit and Awards. We have so far completed 3 editions, and the 4th edition is going to be in 2017, and we are planning to have 3 editions. And we have only mobile app ecosystem to be covered in this summit. And Adata is a mobile ad network, publisher and advertising connectivity platform and a marketplace. And we also have AppsWorld and Startup Magazines, which covers the app ecosystem as well as the startup ecosystem. And there is a couple of housekeeping instructions I just wanted to throw your way. I request you to set your phones to mute so that we can have uninterrupted sessions. And if you have any questions, please type them in the chat window located beside the presenting panel, so we can take them during the session or at the end of the session, and we can try to answer them everything. If the time is not available for that, we can take up all the questions and send you the detailed answers based on our perspective through email. And there is a small introduction about myself. I have been working with DCA for past 8 years, and we have successfully launched over 100 digital campaigns for our clients across the globe. And this webinar is purely on the experience and expertise that we have gathered through the experience along with the digital campaigns that we had run so far. So let's quickly get into the webinar directly. In this webinar, we'll be covering everything from the basics of SEO to the advanced techniques and tools that you will need for your SEO marketing efforts to succeed. The first thing that has to come into picture is finding the right audience. So definitely that increases the visibility. So let's get into that. SEO is like an elixir for startups. SEO also allows startups to build a solid search engine reputation. Think about it like this. Your website is a store and your search engine ranking is its address. You don't want to set up your store in a back alley or somewhere out of the town. Consider that 75% of users never scroll past the first page of search results, and that 18% of organic clicks go through the first position, and the 10% go to the second and 7% go to the third. There is no way to get any business done if your website is found on the back page of Google. For startups to snag $1 million funding, it must first show proof of sustainability and revenue potential. SEO can take care of both. Furthermore, SEO has extra benefits that are immediately not apparent, but with high visibility, you can create forecasts that prove sustainability and promising venues. These forecasts can then be used to snag funding from investors. Search engines grabbing more market share, and it is also cost effective. SEO is highly cost effective, especially when compared to traditional advertising. When you can see the fact that 70% of the links Search users click on the organic and 70 to 80% of users ignore the paid ads altogether. Search engines grabbing more market share. 93% of online experiences begin with a search engine, so the best place to start marketing is on a search engine, definitely. I think everyone will accept to this. The numbers of users are growing each year with 6 trillion searches per day as of May 2016. Google has 70% of the market share, followed by Bing and Yahoo. You and me, everyone will definitely go to Google and search for any information or product review or anything as set of comparing Bing and Yahoo. The next thing would be the keyword and meta tag. This is nothing but the search term that your users will be using to find your business. So how do you put this information to good use? How to get implementing in these particular elements in SEO? It's not a big thing. It all starts with the keywords and meta tags that you wanted to target. Keywords are the bread and butter of SEO. Keyword research is based on the classic formula of hypothesis. You have to find, test and refine. In other words, you build your content using a set of keywords and then you gauge the numbers. These keywords became your milestone. You then take another set of keywords. Keyword research is based on the classic formula. You have to first find the right keywords, test and refine them. In other words, you build your keywords and your content using a set of keywords and then gauge the numbers. These keywords became your milestone. You take another set of keywords and build content around them. If you beat your earlier milestone, the next set of keywords that you had selected is going to be your new milestone. This always comes through in cycles. We will get more in depth with keywords and the tools later, but for now, the main idea is that they are the skeleton of any SEO campaign. Research and develop customer profile. It has to be consist of the both demographic and psychographic information. The next importance is to develop your customer profile. Demographic information refers to various variables. It can be like age, gender, family size, occupation, race and nationality. The psychographic takes a step further from the demographic data, and this can also include the personal values and opinions. Why is this information important? Well, different people like to be sold in different ways. Since they have different needs, the better you understand your potential client, the easier it is for you to attract him or her using their behavior. This can mean personalizing everything to fit your target, from keywords and meta tag to the content elements. When you bring together these two types of information, you can create a persona, your ideal buyer. You will be able to create a journey map that tracks everything from the first contact to the closing of the sale, and you will be able to tailor your entire marketing strategy to fit the taste and preferences of said persona. Social media marketing and SEO. It has to go simultaneously and it always go hand in hand. Both the organic inbound strategies that focus on building an appealing identity that naturally attract visitors. Since social media relies on high quality content and a visible, strong brand presence. The efforts you spend on SEO can doubly improve your social media research. Your social media presence can greatly increase your search rankings. First off, the total number of followers and connections your social media profiles contain does have a significant influence on your ranking. However, there are some stipulations to this. Google can detect the quality of your followers, meaning buying 1 lakh proxy Twitter followers or 1 lakh proxy Facebook fans isn't going to do much for your overall ranking. In fact, this can affect you tremendously negatively as well. Secondly, consistent social media efforts encourage external inbound links. The more diverse external links you have, the more authority you will gain in Google eyes. Finally, add to this point, we will cover later as well, social media provides a perfect opportunity to engage yourself in the local community and to send local specific authority signals to major search engines. Monitor your audience, be active and respond. When link building, it is important to keep your audience in mind. If you know what type of content your target audience enjoys, you can focus on building links within that sphere of interest. This not only builds relevance, has SEO value and position you are an authority, but also has the real marketing value to both your user as well as to your brand. The three most common areas to invest in order to find where your audience is active are influential websites like BuzzSumo, Twitter, Facebook, etc., your competitors' backlinks, and mentions of your brand and company in the internet. So if you have any other questions during the session, I request you to share them in the chat window. I can take them up later and answer them. Thank you. So let's get into the next thing. It is about the responsive web design. Focus on mobility and the importance of responsive web design are the best friends forever. Make a website catered to all mobile devices. Building a website for a single web device is no longer an option. In order to build an audience, you have to design your website for multiple devices. You can do this in one or two ways. Build a website for both desktop and mobile or build a responsive website. Based on our experience, we strongly recommend going with the responsive web design because while it may cost more in the short term, a responsive web design will save money by being able to adapt to both present as well as the future devices. It also helps you to reach a wider audience. A responsive web design naturally allows you to reach a wider audience because 38% of people will stop engaging with a website if the content or layout is unattractive. 60% of the internet access is mostly mobile. 46% of people using mobile devices report having problems viewing a static website. A static website is always a traditional and non-responsive web design. Google loves responsive web design. Google not only recommends responsive web design as the best way to target mobile users, but also favors mobile optimized sites when presenting results for searches made on a mobile devices. You could think that why I always talk about Google and Google here and again. Because as we saw in the earlier slides, more than 70% of the people uses Google to search or look for any information. So when you wanted to build your brand across your company, you have to look into the Google more effectively. When comparing one responsive site to two static websites, responsive definitely wins. From a SEO perspective, one of the main challenges posed by having a separate mobile site is that you will need to build the authority of the site from the scratch. Furthermore, if you have a responsive website, you can build social shares for just one URL. When the site gets shared, wherever the link is viewed, whether on a mobile, tablet or on a desktop, all of the content will be clear and easy to navigate as well. So from the responsive web design, we are going to talk about the user experience and better conversions. So when a user is very happy exploring your website, it's high chance that he is going to be your customer. Websites are essentially a tool for sharing content. A user-friendly site makes it easier for visitors to observe and pass on their content. If visitors are browsing a site via their mobile or tablet, they should be able to view all of its content as easily as desktop users. Responsive design helps modern websites appeal to modern users as well. Going responsive is the most effective way to make the most of mobile as well as the tablet traffic, and to other visitors the best possible user experience. So the next comes is website content, which plays a very huge role in terms of brand marketing as well as SEO. Plan your content investments. The cost of content isn't simply what you need to pay your writers and designers. It also involves the dedicated staff needed to handle the projects, freelance writers and designers, and the technology expenses as well. So when you plan for your content investments, you have to look into all these things together to plan a better investment. For example, if you plan on a mid-sized content marketing effort, your investments will include the salary of a managing editor, the cost of blog post and the premium content, and the software tools and the hosting that you will be using. When trying to justify content marketing to stakeholders, you can mention the fact that content marketing cost 31% less per lead than paid search for mid-sized enterprises and 41% less for larger enterprises. Set up a blog. When you talk about a content marketing, you cannot just leave without talking about a blog. In order for your blog to be center of a strong content marketing plan, you will need to make sure you build your blog on a strong foundation. One of your first decisions is how to set up a blog. Make sure you use your own URL that is preferably incorporated into your overall business website. The best option here is to use a self-hosted WordPress blog. What do I mean here is, if you wanted to have a blog, take a WordPress blog, install that inside your website and have the URL something like blog.yourwebsite.com or blog.yourwebsite.com/blog. This is mean that you incorporated your blog inside your website. So your brand as well as the content that you build around your business will remain under one single domain. Plan content around keywords you wanted to rank for. Optimizing your blog post for keywords is not about incorporating as many keywords into your post as possible. It turns out that is actually hurt your SEO because search engines will think that you are trying to manipulate their algorithm. Instead, just focus on one or two keywords per blog post. This will keep you focused on a goal for your post. Using long tail keywords may be more efficient as well, since website visitors searching long tail terms will often to be more qualified. In other words, to make it simple, you will bring in the right type of traffic, visitors who convert by using the long tail keywords. When you have a lengthy headline, it is a good idea to get your keywords in the beginning, since it might be cut off in SERP towards the end. Mention your keywords at a normal throughout the body of your post and in the header as well. Search engines also look to your URL to figure out what your post is all about. A user or any search engine always look into the URL first to understand what the particular page is actually all about. So you have a huge opportunity to optimize your URLs on every post you publish, as every post lives on its own unique URL, so make sure you include your one or two keywords into it. Host educative webinars or sessions. 66% of B2B marketers said webinars are one of the most effective content marketing tools. Webinar also aim to provide helpful, interesting or compelling content and instructions, and ultimately encourage participants to take an action. This could be a buy a product, sign up for a newsletter, or become a member, or whatever it may be. They can also be a great ways to build recognition as a thought leader which some consider to be ultimate content marketing tactics. Webinars are convenient, cost-effective, and allow businesses to market their content in real time to wider audience. Webinars can be archived to the web and will attract views indefinitely. Since webinar requires registration, they can serve as an excellent lead generation tool where content can be provided as the lead is nurtured afterwards. But just to make sure, when you host a webinar, always try to give them the tips and tricks what your services or what your business product can help them in their life rather than just giving the sales pitch. Build credibility for your brand. Establishing credibility in your industry is an essential to establishing a successful brand. The more effectively that you demonstrate to the public why you are an authority in your field, the more trust you will naturally build between your company and the potential clients. When you are trying to build trust through content, it is important to be aware of what formats and topics will resonate best with your target client base. You can discover this simply by paying attention to what blog seems to attract the heftiest readership. But there are also tools out there that highlight what content performs the best based on social media metrics. With tools such like BuzzSumo, you can enter a keyword that relates to your industry or your brand, and the database will bring up which articles under that category have the most shares, likes, comments, and retweets. You can use this information to develop an impressive content marketing strategy. Convert users to results. This is the most important thing that you can achieve through content marketing. Content such as blog posts and webinars are the top of the funnel techniques which attracts potential customers and brand awareness. Once a user has provided his contact information, the next step is likely comprised of newsletters and email marketing, which is then followed by landing pages or perhaps sales calls. Rank higher in SERP. Ultimately, good content will result in high rank on SERP. It will naturally draw in readers with good keywords and meta tags, grow a social following and subsequent backlinks, and establish your brand as an authority within your niche. All of these factors which Google love to reward with high ranking. So just wanted to quickly have an overview on the content marketing that we had discussed so far. So build the content around your brand and business. Also make sure what your customers and clients are looking for. Build credibility for your brand with your content and set up a blog. Try to have a self-hosted WordPress blog inside your brand, and all these tactics will help you increase the higher ranking in SERP. So I see a couple of questions popping up. So I think we can take them all together at the end of the session and answer them. If you have any other queries, just leave them in the chat window. I shall take it later. Thank you. Let's continue with that. The next would be the implication of poorly implemented SEO strategies. So one should be aware of it, and it should be able to in a position to fix them as early as possible. The first thing would be failing to budget for SEO. Most businesses do not have realistic time frames or budgets for their SEO campaign. They want results immediately and at the same time are only willing to make a very minimal investment in terms of time as well as in terms of budget. The more competitive your industry, the greater time frame and larger budget you should expect. The next would be the mistakes with keyword research. As we told earlier, keywords is going to be the very first steps for any SEO marketing campaign. So when you get that wrong, your entire SEO campaign is going to be in a dark shade. Analyze keyword data using a reputable keyword research tool and see what keywords your successful competitors are using to make sure you're optimizing for the right keywords. Again, I would say that don't just rely on the competitors. Just take those keywords as a metrics and work based on them. Because who knows, your competitor could have also missed a couple of real good keywords and you could target them as well. The next would be creating unnatural looking link profile. I see there is a question from Fagad saying how to build links. So I think I can just relate that with this section and answer that quickly. Fagad, if you wanted to build links, link is nothing but a voting up from your customer or a good prospects to your business. So just we are going to have a session called local SEO optimization at the later part of the webinar. So when I discuss about that, you can get a clear idea of how to build a very local links for your particular business. So we can talk about Google business page. There are a lot of local directories like Yelp, business pages, white pages, Crunchbase, etc. You can also look into them as well. So I think we can, at the later part of the time, we can talk in detail about building links. Creating unnatural looking link profile. So what exactly is an unnatural link? Unnatural links are artificial links mainly intended to manipulate a page ranking. These can include purchase links or links created by scrappers and scammers. Unnatural links became a Google target after their Penguin update in mid-April of 2012. During that time, from the small business to the very large enterprises, websites as well hit by the Google algorithm. As a result of the recent upgrade, all negative SEO and questionable page ranking tactics have been targeted as well. The next one would be expecting SEO to gain traction on its own. Starting an SEO campaign is not enough. You need to put in consistent efforts over a longer period of time. If you want to see consistent results, this requires strategic thinking, outreach, social media presence, and quality content that receives backlinks naturally. So when you build your content around what your users are looking for, your users will definitely reshare them. If they have a blog, they are going to share it in the blog, or if they have a website or if they have a social profile, they are definitely going to share it there. So through that, you can naturally build links for your business or brand. That is what they're talking about here. Not tracking results. Tracking data and making improvements as needed is crucial to a successful long-term SEO. This can often result in small tweaks that help improve the campaign over time or significant adjustment such as revamping an entire content strategy or even redesigning a website. So when we talk about here, the test and refine strategy has to be implemented throughout the SEO campaign. Take an example like this. You have selected a keyword, you have built content around that, but that is not going to give you much expected results rather than the new keyword that you are planning to focus for your business, which yields the very good results for your business. In that case, you can leave out the old keyword and focus on the new keyword. Data analytics and user behaviors inside the website. This is definitely giving us a path for improvement. So when you see what your users are interacting with your website and when you see where exactly your users are actually signing out from your website without getting without doing a purchase or without completing a form or etc., you can clearly find with data analytics tool what exactly is happening inside your website, and based on the data that you collect from the tool, you can redefine your website or you can redefine the structure of your marketing campaign. The first one would be mobilize, localize and socialize your content and people. Geolocation is becoming more important as a ranking factor. It is also well known that optimized mobile websites receive a boost in ranking for mobile devices. The next one would be compile a comprehensive checklist of tools of categories. Under this, we are going to talk about a few tools which helps you to understand what exactly your users are doing inside your website, and with the data, how you can actually improve your marketing campaign. The first one I would definitely talk about here would be the Google Analytics tool. Thankfully, one of the best tools of measuring SEO is freely available, and thanks to Google for that. Google Analytics can go beyond helping you understand keyword ranking. It can reveal important metrics that help you determine how search bring revenue and profit to your business. Other than the traffic numbers, it also gives you the tracking conversion stats, your page loading time, and the dollar value of an organic visitors, among others. You can narrow down to exactly which city your particular customer has come in, and you can also see the data about in which page your prospect is actually entering your website and which page your prospect is actually leaving your website. Then next would be the mid to deep funnel analytics. We are going to talk about two tools here. It's Mixpanel and Amplitude. Mixpanel tracks user interaction with web as well as the mobile applications and offer targeted communications with your users. These tools also include A/B test and user survey forms. So they collected the data is then used to build customer reports and measure user engagement and retention. Amplitude is also an in-app as well as the website analytics tools that provides behavioral data which can be used to increase retention and conversions. It allows for user segmentations, such properties as location, platform, and other sources as well. So why are we talking about apps here? You cannot just leave out mobile apps when you start a startup business or a small business. So it's always better to have a website as well as a mobile platform for that, and you have a lot of tools available for both web as well as the mobile platform to understand how the users and the customers are actually engaging within your content inside the web or mobile apps. Business-wide analytics. Looker and more. Looker is a business intelligence platform that organizes data at a company level, which in turn allows you and your team, your partners, as well as your customers to easily access and analyze it together. Similarly, Mode performs the same function as Looker with SQL, Python, and the other reporting tools integration. So if you are not a very techie person and new into the business, we definitely recommend Looker for you rather than the Mode. Diagnosis tools. OAuth, Live Chat, and Intercom. These are the diagnostics tools that are there to help you find out about the problems your customers are having straight from your customers. These also have the live chatting integration with the CRM, customer feedback, and more. Drip email, customer.io and autopilot tools comes under that. Drip email software allows you to manage and organize your email marketing campaigns, whereas customer.io allows for automation, segmentation, analytics, design, and as well as personalization. Basically, they cover everything you need from an email marketing perspective. Before that, you have to make sure that you build the right set of database for your email marketing campaign. Just buying them from the providers or the third-party vendors is not going to be helpful. Here is what the content marketing strategies comes in handy. Send out newsletter, send out case studies, build webinars, build white papers, and try to acquire the contacts for your related business and try to contact them through email marketing. Sales and support tools. Zentek, Salesforce, and also the Lead Square. I think that is missed in the presentation. I think we can also take that into consideration. These tools are essential CRM that help you organize the large amount of data that is needed for both sales and support departments. Zentek can handle customer health, emails, and other inquiries without the need of a physical call center. Salesforce is a CRM platform that provides companies with an interface for case management and task management and a system for automatically routing and escalating important events. Salesforce also has a customer portal which allows customers to track their own cases, provides analytics tools and other services such as email alert, Google search, and access to customers' entitlement and contract. And I have to agree that Salesforce is little costly, and if you feel that you are not able to invest that much amount into a CRM when it is a startup stage, you can definitely look into Centec as well as the LeadSource, which almost has the same functionality of Salesforce. Never-ending optimization or updates to retain your customers. These tools are also essentials to customer retention, and the best way to improve this metric is through constant optimization. Utilizing a well-balanced mix of quantitative and qualitative tools will allow you to tweak your website or an app to the point where your customer retention is a way up. However, if this effort is not constant and maintained indefinitely, you run the risk of losing touch with your customer base and the retention numbers drops down considerably. Importance of local SEO strategy. With a local SEO, you can find a very focused audience group which is more likely to be your customer. 46% of all searches on Google are local. More business fail to focus on local SEO. Local SEO is simply the optimization of a particular business for a specific geographic location. It gives you more individualized results. Almost half of searchers use mobile devices exclusively for product research. Furthermore, most of those searches are local specific as well. Due to their proximity to the searcher, local businesses can even outrank businesses with national authority. Local SEO will be a profit maker. Local searches lead 50% of mobile visitors to visit stores within one day. The next two set of stats is going to be more interesting. 18% of local mobile searches lead to a sales within a single day. And 78% of local mobile searches result in offline purchases as well. It gives you effective targeting. It gives you a better PR coverage. How it gives a better PR coverage? Involvement in the local scene will also offer you additional opportunities for local visibility. If you publish valuable, interesting content about your neighborhood, city or region very frequently, local news reporters and fellow entrepreneurs are more likely to notice. It is a relatively easy way of getting citizens of your city or region on your neighborhood site while also getting additional public visibility. The next would be the cakewalk. Just claim your Google My Business page. Your Google My Business profile is essential for local SEO. It's free and will enable you to appear in local search results for queries specific to your product or service. Setting up a page is not a very complicated one. It's a very simple and straightforward technique. You will just have to introduce your business name, address, category, and a short description. Other features include photos, social networking, and customer reviews that can also has to be included in that profile. Maintain consistent business citations. 88% of customers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. You and me as well, if we wanted to buy any product or mobile phone or something like that, the first step that we do is just go Google it and find the reviews from the customers that they were using it already. Citations are incredibly important in Google SEO. Local SEO. It can also be a part of very quality backlinks for your website. They are what drives the local search results and typically are not included in the national SEO campaign. So what is a citation? Whenever a company's name, address and phone number are listed on another website, it is considered as a citation. We call it as NAP. It's a name, address and phone number. It is essential that this information be consistent across the board, as inconsistent information can significantly decrease the SEO value of a citation. Being said that, if you change the location of your business, make sure that you go to all the citation directories and revise the data that you have already inputted there. The same applies for the phone number as well. Encouraging customer reviews. Reviews are also unique to local SEO and hold quite a bit of weight in ranking factor. But there are other review sites as well other than Google that include Yelp. Both positive and negative reviews affect the website in a positive and negative way. So just make sure that you don't get more negative review in the customer review section. In case if you review it, don't just ignore it. As a business person, you know why this happened and be proactive and go there and talk to the customer where it went wrong and what solution you can actually provide it to them in order for them to come back again and leave a good footprint on your business. SEO is dynamic and continuous process. One cannot be hurried with this. Respond effectively to potential Google ranking algorithm changes. Google changes its algorithm very frequently nowadays in order to give the best experience for the users that they have acquired so far. In order for your SEO effort to be successful, you have to adapt it. Make sure that you understand the Google algorithm changes and stick with that. Saying that, we cannot just think about what Google will come up with a new algorithm and all. So instead, just take a look at the best practice always and stick with that. Don't go with black hat techniques and all. Just stick with the white hat and you don't need to worry about any Google algorithm as well. Evaluation of online marketplace. The online marketplace is a continuous evaluation as well. This means that you have to stay informed about new products, techniques, what your competitors are doing, etc. If you are already doing this, you have to apply the information to the way you position yourself from an SEO point of view as well. Let's say a tough competitor has sprung up and you have managed to throw you out of the top 3 search results which you were enjoying for last 6 months or so. In this case, it might be wiser to not to face the competition head on. Instead, focus on a local or long tail approach to solve the problem. The more competitive the niche, more effort to be needed. If you operate in a small, crowded niche, odds that you will have to put in more time and investment into your SEO efforts. Keywords that are highly coveted are also very hard to attract. Balance your efforts. We can think about SEO ranking elements as signals to a search engine, each one of them communicating something to the search engines. The key to a great SEO campaign is balance. Do not over-investment in a single facet of your campaign. That is, just don't always focus on a content marketing. Instead, try to develop a strategy that includes social media, localization, community approach, PR approach, as well as the content marketing. Increased search engine ranking depends on continuous SEO. Consistency is key there. If your content is not on a regular schedule or if your social media accounts are catching dust, you will see your ranking invariably drop. It takes a long time to develop a naturally high ranking, but it does not take long for you to lose it as well. So if you leave your SEO efforts unattended, it is high chance that you will lose out in the ranking competition as well. Good SEO depends on fresh content. Nobody likes to share the content that they have already came up very, come up again and again. The same content is king stays true. You want your content marketing efforts to be fresh in order for them to be effective. New exciting information will naturally draw in more attention and generate more buzz than content that has been rehashed over and over again. SEO requires product maturity. If you are a young startup, you are probably not 100% clear on your product, which means website may change, keywords may change. These all things are very bad for ongoing SEO. So this needs as well a maturity on a SEO perspective as well. This is a bit of catch. However, SEO requires maturity in order to work in a way it is. As mentioned above, if your product is not undergoing constant changes, then your content and keywords will do so as well, which ultimately means that your SEO efforts are futile. It is essential that you have a very fairly permanent definition of what your product or what your brand is before you start SEO marketing campaign. So what is the final talk here is, just before investing time and money on SEO marketing, understand your brand, understand your business, understand your product, and define a very strong set of definitions for your brand. Then focus on the SEO campaign or digital marketing campaign. So with this, we have come up to the end of the webinar. Before we wind up, I just wanted to give you a quick overview on what we have we have discussed so far. The first thing would be finding the right audience by selecting the right keywords. The next would be the build a responsive website and be the front runner. When it comes to responsive web design, some may think that they wanted to have a separate website for desktop and separate website for mobile. It's up to them. But on a experience that we have come up with so far, we strongly recommend the responsive website for any business. Build content that users will love to read and share. Fix poorly implemented SEO strategies. Track users and their behaviors to fine-tune their campaign. Investing more time and money is very good, but if you don't track down what your users are actually engaging within your website, it's not going to be in the right direction. So it's always better to use the right tools to track your users, and based on the insights that you receive, try to fine-tune the campaign and move the campaign on a right way. Don't forget the local SEO. Your customer can be your next door as well. So just try to focus on climbing the Google business page and also build consistent NAP citations. I mean the consistent name, business name, address and phone numbers across the web. At last, be patient because SEO is a continuous process and need consistent effort and time to achieve the goal. I think with this we have come up with the end of the webinar. I think it's time for me to take up a couple of questions from the chat window. I think I can answer them. If any of you have any questions, just leave them in the chat window. Let me take it up. I think Soumya being more active in the chat window, I see that there is a question from her saying how to optimize social media content in such a way that should help in SERP for a new brand. It's a good question, Soumya. I would say focus on what your customers are actually looking for from you. So say for an example, if you are a new startup and your business is very basically in a particular location, maybe a Bangalore or in Chennai itself, try to talk more about your niche as well as the local area where you belongs to. So it definitely attracts the local people from your neighborhood. They will gradually come to know about your business, and then when you try to get their contacts through the case studies or the white papers or the webinars, and then you can reach them out through the email marketing, and then I think that is how you can build a better social media strategy for a new brand. So coming back to Fahad's question, how to build backlinks, Fahad, just try to focus on natural links. Just be patient. Don't work out on so many number of links. There are a lot of sites gives links in just by submitting your website and the URL. Rather than quantity of the links, just focus on a quality of links. Try to, if you're a local business, if you have local presence for your business, then the best way to start with will be the local citations. First climb your business in Google My Business page, work on other citation directories such as Yelp, Yellow Pages, Super Pages, Crunchbase, etc. Then work on the content marketing strategy, also the PR outreach. I think Sudeshna has a problem saying he has a problem in hearing the presentation. No problem, we will definitely send you the presentation with a recording, so you can definitely hear that, and if you have any queries on that, you can mail me for that as well. So there is another question from Soumya saying, what is the most effective link building practices? There is no any set of hard and fast rules for this. You have to just be more proactive with your link building approaches. So there is a time that people were building so much of directory links to go with that. Then Google came very hardly on them, saying that all directories were penalized and all those links were being giving more negative reputation for your business. So just don't go with the case by case study basis. Just work on your business, what your users are expecting, what your customers are expecting. Try to give them in all formats. Either it could be in the content, either it could be in the video, it could be in an infographic, whatever way it can be. Just think about your users and work. Always don't think about your search engine's perspective. Just think about users, then work on it. Search engines will definitely love what you are giving for your users as well. So there is another question called, what is an opinion on Google AdWords? Google AdWords is definitely a good way for any startup to get a quick influence on among the users, among the customers. So if you are ready to invest some amount in Google AdWords, you can definitely do that, because as we said, SEO is a continuous process and you need to be consistent effort and time to do that. Whereas in Google AdWords, you can quickly see the results. And the best thing for Google AdWords for startup is you can even focus on a customer that is just about 2 kilometers around your business or 4 kilometers around your business. So even if you don't have a website in the initial stage, you can even work on Google AdWords. There are a lot of things where you can work around this, having a call only campaign where you don't have to input your website URL, just leave your phone number so that users can reach out to your phone number, or your customers can reach out, and you can try to do the business there as well. Funnel analytics is nothing but from where your customers are actually coming and what are the pages that they have gone through, and from exactly which page they have actually exited from the website. So say for an example, you have an e-commerce website and a customer has come in through the home page or a product page, probably from a social media campaign, and they could have actually not completed the product purchase but left out in the checkout page. Then with the funnel analytics, you can get the data from the tool and understand why the customer has actually left from the checkout page, whether the checkout page has any problem, whether it requires any long lengthy registration process, or you can think about it in different perspective and try to fix the problem. And there is a question from Beulah saying, what is the limitation in the number of keywords? I think we had already discussed about it. When it comes to a blog post, try to be focused on just one keyword per post. When you talk about a website and a URL, from my perspective, I always believe that you have to stick with just 2 to 3 keywords per page. And you can just optimize your home page as well as the service pages. You don't need to worry much about your about, contact, and etc. I think there are a lot of questions popping up. I'll try to complete it. Otherwise, I'll make sure that I respond to all the questions through email. And there is a question from Divya saying, at what frequency can a new content be published? I would say even if you do that daily, that would be great. It depends on the many factors, right? Like you can, instead of just publishing same content again and again on every day, it's not going to help. You have to focus on the quality and unique content. So probably I would say that any form of two content in a week would be the right approach. Limitation on content length is, my perspective would be, don't go very overland. Just stick with what user will read. Think in front of your user. If you are a user, I am giving a webinar for more than 1.5 hours. Definitely, it's not going to be the case for you. So just focus on what your users benefit from the content. Probably instead of saying paragraphs of content, try to give them in bulletin points. You can also think about presenting them in a video in an image format, infographic, because rather than reading, people love to watch videos, love to scan through the images that you present, and that will get more share and likes and comment as well. So I think it's time for us to complete the webinar, everyone. I would like to thank everybody for your time. And here you see my email. It is mercy@bci.in. You can send me an email for any clarifications on the webinar as well as on any business perspective. I would be definitely happy to help you out. And you can also visit our website. It is .cominfobay.com. And you can also join us through social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+. We are posting more fresh and more content to encourage you to do good business with marketing approach. We also have other departments as mobile app development, mobile app marketing, web development as well. So you can also come to the website and learn more about our services. And at last, I would like to thank Mr. Krishna Sharan for organizing such a lovely webinar with every one of you. Thanks everyone. I hope that you all enjoyed the webinar as much as I did. Thank you.